After everything that's happened at the High Court today in London, why do we think that Prince Harry is allegedly desperate to now settle with Rupert Murdoch in his hacking trial? I've brought your favourite DC lawyer, John Witherspoon, to react and explain more. Hey up everyone, it's me, Stef, the alternate, your nerdy alternative, and welcome to the Dose of the Daily Nerd, where I break down the royal news and gossip of the day that's pretty much caught my eye. And oh my goodness, yeah, let's jump into this whole insane mess with Prince Harry and his hacking lawsuit against Rupert Murdoch's Empire News Group newspapers. And as I said right at the beginning, I've brought in your favourite DC lawyer, John Witherspoon, to react and give us more information as to why Prince Harry is allegedly desperate to settle with Rupert Murdoch in this hacking trial. Thank you so much for joining me today. My goodness. Firstly, what's your reactions to this whole story that's unfolded?
Well, first of all, thanks for having me on, Steph. It's a really interesting set of circumstances because Harry has been saying, I mean, this has been going on for 6 years. And Harry has been saying all along, and he said very recently at the New York Times Book Summit, that in so many words, he was doing God's work. He was the anointed representative of everybody else who, has had to back out and settle because they don't have the financial means to go ahead with this and see it through to conclusion. And again, I'm paraphrasing what he said, but I think that's pretty close. Because he did have the means and he had the time and he's high profile and everything, so he wanted to see it through to the bitter end and basically be the person who makes these newspapers held to account for what they've done. Now all of a sudden, it seems like within the last couple of days, we're in a scenario where he's trying to kind of make peace, allegedly, and everything that I'm going to say here is my own opinion, and it's allegedly based on the information that's been coming out. But it definitely appears that there's some sort of settlement talks that are very serious and that are very far along, and that a settlement is likely imminent. And that's based on some comments that were made by some people this morning as they walked out of the courthouse rather, spoke to the reporters who were gathered on the street, on the sidewalk, and they made it pretty clear that the talks are very far along. The interesting thing, which is actually really funny to me, is that apparently they were trying to reach Harry to get his blessing on whatever deal had been struck, but they couldn't. And the explanation was, they're having trouble getting instructions from him because of the time difference. And Los Angeles, of course, is 8 hours behind London. And when the first person made that comment, they're having trouble getting instructions because of the time difference. And someone else said, which means he's asleep. And someone else said, yes, that's exactly right. And that's hilarious to me, because you would never go into serious talks like this about settlement without having basically a hotline back to the client to get the client's approval for whatever the settlement deal is that's been arranged. But somehow that's not working because Harry's in the bed back in California. And I mean, you could not make this stuff up. It's unintentionally hilarious, as the saying goes. So apparently, again, if I heard what was said correctly, the judge is fuming. And when the other lawyers walked out of the courthouse and they were asked, what's going on? What's the deal? Everybody said, well, we're going to have to come back tomorrow. We're going to have to come back tomorrow. And again, that's allegedly because they could not get Harry on the telephone, allegedly because he was fast asleep back in California. So again, you can't make these things up.
No, you can't make this shiz up even if you tried. So, based on your experience, knowledge, and your opinion, conspiracy theory, whatever, why do you think that Prince Harry is allegedly now desperate to settle in this hacking trial? Why do you think that might be?
That's a really good question, Steph. And obviously, we can only speculate, but my guess would be that his legal team prevailed upon him and said, listen, this is a stinker. You're not going to look good if you're called to testify. The facts are not on your side. You need to do what everybody else has done, except for one other person. And you need to basically admit defeat in this, or not necessarily admit defeat. Maybe I should put that a little differently. You need to admit to yourself that there's a very substantial possibility that you are not going to prevail in this case. Again, this has been dragging on for years and years, and here we are at the 11th hour, and it does not benefit you to move forward. Either your reputation is going to take a hit, or you're going to flat out lose, and you need to come to your senses and face the facts. That would be my best guess, my best opinion about actually what's going on here. His lawyers have probably prevailed upon him to throw in the towel and say, this is not going to work out for me, either from a legal standpoint or from a PR standpoint. And you need to cut your losses or avoid a bigger loss if you go forward and come to some sort of a settlement. And I think that's probably what's happened.
Yeah, I mean, talking about a bigger loss, I suspect that it could actually be a financial motive as to why Hazard is desperate to settle in this hacking trial as well. You have actor Hugh Grant that was among many claimants that was trying to sue Rupert Murdoch's newsgroup newspapers, but settled in the end, right? And he says that the reason why he settled was because even if he had won, he would have still faced a legal bill of like £10 million plus. And so could that also be potentially a factor, John, as to why Harry is now desperate to settle with Rupert Murdoch in this hacking trial? He found that hundreds of other claimants had settled. They're all turning around and saying, look, financially, it's just not going to be doable, or it makes no sense, because even if I win, I'm still going to have to fork out millions in costs for legal kind of fees, this, that, and the other. Do you think that might play a part in this as well?
Absolutely. And I've seen all sorts of stories, and I'm not a UK attorney, obviously, a UK lawyer, but I've repeatedly seen reports that Harry could potentially be on the hook for not only his own legal team's fees, but also the legal fees that have been racked up by the other side, depending on how the case is decided. From what I understand, it's a risky proposition to go forward. It may well be the case that he's afraid of the bill that he would get. Absolutely. That could very well be motivating him. And of course, the lawyers that are hashing out this apparent settlement arrangement, they're taking all that into account as well. So whatever settlement is reached, and we may never know exactly what it is, because in a lot of cases, settlement agreements become confidential, at least in the United States. It could well be the case that we never find out exactly what's going on, but Harry may end up in a position where he is still paying a pretty good chunk of the opposing counsel's fees, along with those of his own legal team. So it's kind of a game of chicken in a lot of ways, and he just needs to tread very carefully.
Yeah, and make sure he's actually awake for the game of chicken as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, but with that being said, guys, that is it. Going round full circle. Why is Prince Harry allegedly desperate to settle with Rupert Murdoch in the hacking trial? You've heard it from John yourself, guys, your favourite DC lawyer. If you want to hear more from him, guys, then please make sure you are following him on Instagram. If you've got any questions from today's video or any previous videos that John has appeared on this channel, this is the way to contact him, guys, through Instagram. He may not be able to answer all your questions, but it's a way to contact him nonetheless. Do make sure on your way out, if you want more of this content, and of course there's going to be more, then you subscribe to join our Alternate Tribe, like, share, comment, all that good stuff. My thanks again to John for jumping on and joining me for this video. I appreciate you, mate. Thank you so much to everyone watching this video. Till the next time, you guys. Laters.